Hello and welcome back to episode 11 of Win Me the Lottery. Win Me the Lottery.
That sounds right.
That sounds about right. Tony, how was your weekend?
Well, it was. I was a little bit down because it was international break.
Yeah.
I stretched quite bad. I didn't actually watch the England match.
Well, that was lucky for you.
It was like 2-0 or something.
Yeah, 2-0 against Malta. That was disappointing.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just glad that international break's over. But yeah, the weekend was quite quiet because no Arsenal were playing, and actually on Sunday I was actually celebrating you, Chris.
You were celebrating me?
Yeah.
I wasn't even here. I was in Liverpool.
Yeah, I was celebrating you.
Being away.
No, not just that. I'm just celebrating you as a person.
As a human, okay.
As a human, and I was celebrating your dad.
Oh, really?
I was celebrating George, Mark. I was celebrating your uncle. I was just celebrating all men, really.
Yeah, and what was the reason for that?
It was International Men's Day.
Right, now it makes sense.
Your favourite day, right, Chris?
International Men's Day. Yet another day that we have to celebrate somebody else. Why do we need so many of these different days for everything?
Well, I think it's there is International Women's Day, and I definitely think that is definitely worth celebrating.
There's a reason for International Women's Day. How long ago was it women got the vote? What about men? We don't need our own day.
I mean, there is an argument that why do we need it? The only thing that I can say that it is an official day that we celebrate men. But you're probably curious, what is the objectives of International Men's Day?
I'm not, but you're going to tell me anyway.
Yeah. What would you think it is? What would you think it is?
I think that they're a group of blokes who just can't handle the fact that there's not a day for them. And they were like, look, if there's an International Women's Day, we've got to have an International Men's Day. Am I right? Or are there some guiding principles?
I can go through the actual objectives, but you reminded me of something that I said that was quite insensitive many years ago to my mum.
To your mum, of all people.
Yeah, I know. I feel quite bad about it because it was Mother's Day.
Yeah.
I was like, Mother's Day, you get all this. Why isn't there a Son's Day? That was a bit kind of selfish of me. I was like, I want to be kind of like 4 days.
She's like, well, that's 364 days a year.
Yeah, she's like, well, it seems Sunday every day.
Yeah.
Anyhow. But yeah, just to give kind of the objectives of International Men's Day.
Go for it.
So it's actually, there's 6 pillars on the official website.
Oh, right.
So
okay.
it seems to be a legit thought out thing.
They've managed to come up with 6 different reasons. I'm impressed.
So the first one is to promote positive male role models.
Okay.
Not just movie stars and sportsmen, but everyday working class men who are living decent, honest lives.
Nice. Okay.
Not bad. I think that's true. These good guys in the community might be under
the kind of builders who win the lottery, for example, that we were talking about last week. Your everyday star who goes out there and gets their pepperoni for lunch.
Well, yeah. I guess if they're good role models.
Most people.
Yeah. We think
are.
Positive. Next one is to celebrate men's positive contributions to society. Community, family, marriage, childcare, and to the environment. I mean, men, they do positive contributions, right?
Everybody can.
Everyone does, right? Third one is actually, I guess it's quite an important one, is to focus on men's health and well-being.
Well, that is important. And I think there are some stats of men are sort of less likely maybe to go to the doctor or come forward with a medical condition, and particularly mental health actually is.
Oh, that's a big
Isn't that
one.
meant to be, men are less likely. So, okay, that one I'm down with.
So, it actually goes social, emotional, physical, and spiritual. So, yeah, it covers all that stuff. And it's actually our topic of the week, isn't it, where we actually kind of delve into that a little bit more. Next one is to highlight discrimination against men. I don't know what your thoughts are. So, in areas of social services, social attitudes, and expectations and law. So, I think that's touching upon, when it comes to fighting for the kids in court, that type of stuff.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Fathers for Justice.
Fathers for Justice, and I think social services. I mean, let's be honest. If you're a single man, you're struggling, you go to the council, you know, and you're like, I don't have a job. I lost my job. I don't have any income. I need a place to stay. You know, are you able to give me social housing? They're really at the bottom of the ladder. You know, you've got to prioritise women, especially women with kids, which is, you can argue is the right thing to do, but men are definitely in the low priority for that. Next one is to improve gender relations and promote gender equality. Which is
they had to add that one in, didn't they, to get this passed? Yeah.
Oh, there's women's there. We need to have a men's day. No. And then finally, is to create a safer, better world where people can be safe and grow to reach their full potential.
All right, so out of the two, I'm probably going to give you the men's health and well-being and maybe the discrimination, because anybody can face discrimination of some kind.
Totally.
And you did outline there are some. But the rest of it is a pile of crap. So,
good to hear that. You know, I think we could delve into this.
We will.
It's the topic of the week.
We will. It is our topic of the week.
But yeah, that's a bit of I guess an intro of International Men's Day.
Absolutely. But Tony, before we move on to have a look at last week's numbers and find out whether or not we've won it this time, for Pete's sake. Our mailbag is just getting bigger and bigger. I'm just going to hover over it and see. 5,181. Is that actually less than last week?
I think
we did a bit of a spring clean. But yeah, so we've had an email in from Danny in Bristol. And if you remember, Tony, a few weeks ago, we talked about, would you quit your job if you won the lottery?
That's a big one, isn't it?
And the world of work. And I just had a laugh at this tweet that Danny has identified, and he said, "Guys, Tony, Chris," he said, "I love the show. You know, let me draw your attention to this tweet and let me know if you agree." So this tweet is from Terence Rohan, and he says, "I was lucky enough to work at Google from 2005 to 10. We were in the office 9 a.m. till 8 p.m. Monday to Thursday." And Friday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Saturday, people took off, brackets, kinda. Back online Sunday most of the day. I think you miss something profound if you don't have this work environment early in your career. Well, Tony, I don't know what you think about what Terence has said there, but he sounds like a bit of a nutter to me.
9 to 8. That... I mean,
11 hours, Monday to Thursday. The worst bit for me is back online Sunday most of the day.
You know what? I think it all comes down to how much he was paid.
True.
You know, we talk. Okay, he's left Google. Let's be honest, Google isn't where it is today without with all hardworking people to make it this kind of dominant company that it is. I always think of like investment bankers doing crazy hours.
Yeah.
But Saturday they took. I mean, that's quite sad, isn't it? That's not really.
Just thinking, like, when did they have time to let their hair down? I guess Friday is saying they did 9 till 5, so maybe they go out Friday night and then take off a lot of Saturday, maybe to go out and do some bits and pieces. But then back online Sunday most of the day.
That already tells me that he doesn't go to church.
Yes. Unless he's working on his phone. Mind you, this was back in 2005.
Yeah, I think he's got his priorities wrong, man.
No, he needs to find God, clearly. And the worst part, really, is when he says at the end, he's trying to make it into something profound. You miss something profound if you don't have this work environment. Now, I would agree with that if it was all about the money. That is profound, if you're going to be on 150 grand.
Is that because he wanted to? It doesn't really say that. It seems like he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
So it might be something that he had to do. It's like I was lucky enough to work at Google.
We were in he's saying we.
So it seems like everyone was into it.
But he really appreciates it.
I think nowadays people say that's not good for your mental health and well-being.
No, you're going to burn out. You need a bit of time to we explored all of this a few weeks ago.
If he was my colleague, right, where I work, I would actually report to HR. Yeah, I think that is... in this day and age, the goalposts move now, don't they? This is 2005, 2010. We're in 2023. It's a different world now. Hybrid working.
Get with the program, Terence.
Yeah. And he's in America. No, he's. Where is he from? Is he?
I think
in
he's
America?
got to be American to go on like that.
Fair enough. But hey, that's a different perspective. Hey, whatever floats your boat. If some people are career driven and we're not against that, if he's earning bank doing that, he may do that for 10 years or so and then he'll call it a day. That's one way of doing it. So
We want a diverse range of opinions on the pod, and thank you, Danny, just for bringing that one in here so that we just can balance it out.
yeah, we need different perspectives really. Sometimes we can't just think of one perspective. So no,
Keep emailing us. Keep emailing us. What's the email address again, Tony?
Tony.win. Actually, it's Tony. Actually,
We've had so many emails and we can't remember it ourselves.
wait, hold up. I have a bit of a brain fart here. I just want to make sure I haven't got it wrong. Yeah, it's tony.win.lotto@gmail.com.
Fantastic.
That's the one. But yeah, if we move on to segment 1. So what was last Saturday's Lotto result and jackpot? So the jackpot amount was 10.8 million. So that's almost 11 million, isn't it?
We said last week, episode 11, we bet it was going to be 11 million and we were probably going to win.
Yeah, we did. So how we got to that number is actually a quadruple rollover. So it's really rolling over. And,
About bloody time, honestly.
so 10.8, what were the winning numbers? So the numbers were 3, 11, 22, 23, 32, 47 and 56. Machine name was Arthur and ball set 5.
Okay, right. Remember that. Let's see if we've matched any.
So what were my numbers? So they were 4, 10, 18, 23, 39 and 40. So only matched one. So that was the 23.
This is disgraceful.
So the only good news out of that is that it's rolling over again.
There were no winners.
Yeah, no jackpot
Thank
winners.
God
jackpot
for that.
winners, yeah. So, yeah, it's on to Wednesday, and maybe next Saturday we might be
Just hope and pray, Tony, that it's just going to keep rolling over.
Have to wait and see there, Chris. But yeah, I'm liking this number, 10.8. I guess we can move on to our topic of the week, Chris.
Topic of the week.
So we already touched on this. So it's the International Men's Day. And I'm actually going to ask you the question emphatically, Chris.
go on,
is,
yeah.
do we need it?
No.
Okay.
Along with many other days, we can chuck them all in the heap. The only days we need, I agree with it. If it's minorities,
Yeah.
and things are stacked against them, the underdog, let's
Yeah.
say, okay, let's have a day, let's celebrate. Man said we don't need it. I don't need a day to celebrate me,
Okay.
other than my birthday, which is very important.
It's quite interesting. As a man, you're just saying we don't need the International Men's Day. Do you find it patronising, or do you think
I just think, things are still stacked in the favour of men.
it's a bit of a sham?
I just don't think we need. There's too many different days. We have a day for tea, we have a day for coffee, we have a day for rum. What else do we need?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there's a day for everything, really.
Yeah.
I will throw some stats at you just to say probably why they might say we need an International Men's Day. So I actually looked at a bit of desk research, so there's just searching online.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the things that I've always heard is that suicide seems to affect men more than women. I'm not sure if you knew that. But the Office of National Statistics published suicide data, and this is for England in 2021.
In the height of COVID. This could be unreliable.
Yeah, it could be
During
unreliable.
COVID.
So the stats that they had then is that the male suicide rate was 15.8 per 100,000.
Okay.
So that's male suicides, and compared to female suicide rate, which is 5.5 per
Okay, so
100,000.
triple.
Yeah.
So that is triple, more or less.
Another interesting stat that I saw was males aged 50 to 54 were found to have the highest suicide rate. So that's 22.5 per 100,000.
This is really good. You know, for any men listening, that is the danger zone then.
Yeah.
50, I bet it's sort of, you know, you've passed your peak. Maybe they've just got divorced. They've gone onto some dating app and realised you're never going to get it again, mate. You know, they're just a bit depressed. So that's just good that people know.
Yeah.
And for them, you know, maybe for people struggling, International Men's Day is really useful for them.
You make a good point. It's like, that stuck out, it's like 50 to 54, like, the stage of life is like, you like you said, you know, your 20s, your 30s are gone. Maybe it could be a point where a lot of divorce happens.
Yeah.
Or like,
you hate your kids. You're divorced.
you might have lost your job and you can't get another one. You know?
Yeah.
really
It's
set
difficult
up.
getting another job at that age. You haven't got enough to retire on.
Yeah.
You tried to move out to Thailand or somewhere and your visa wasn't approved. Yeah. I mean, it's tough.
Or maybe you've been talking to someone online and sending them lots of money, and you go over there to finally see them,
Catfish.
and it might be another man.
Oh, yeah. Well,
But we
we've
need to
all seen
celebrate
90
all. We need to celebrate all men. Really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We've all seen 90 Day Fiancé, and that's
shit.
happened a few times on that. So,
So your heartbreak could be another thing. But another stat this is more in 2022.
okay, that's more reliable.
And this is going on to about homelessness.
Yeah.
So there were reported to be 2,539 men sleeping rough on a single night in England,
My goodness.
and 464 women. So from that is that a majority of rough sleepers reported in England have been males. So
Okay.
there seems to be something with males that, you know, they're more, you know, they seem to struggle to that degree where you know, they're homeless. And I think it goes back to my point I was making earlier, is that single men, you know, they probably aren't given the same amount of support by, say, social services.
Right. Okay.
So yeah, they tend to be more homeless. I'm not sure about you. I mean, when I look at I'm only going from personal experience.
Yeah.
Homelessness around the city
Tends to be
London,
blokes.
It
It
seems
really
to be
does.
seems to be more men.
I think that's one thing we've got to do, Tony. If we want a decent society, give rough sleepers
Yeah.
the opportunity to get off the streets and rebuild things. And you know what? There's been a really successful campaign in Milton Keynes, believe it or
right.
not, where they actually had quite a lot of homeless people. And what they did is just provided them all a safe space to go to. It takes time, it's gradual. People will come in, volunteer, make them food, hairdressing services, things like that. Give them advice. You know, they've got somebody to talk to. And I think that's what we've got to do. Don't ignore the problem. You know, that's been coming up recently with talking about banning tents and things like that. So let's address the problem.
Do you think it's down to like men are quite how do I describe it? It's like they don't want to talk about their problems as much. And if you talk about specifically
Proud in a
about
way.
health, yeah, there might be something that needs to be checked out. And I know a lot of dads are like this. You're like, oh, you should really go to hospital, to the doctors to check that out if you're not feeling well or something isn't working quite right. And they'll be, oh, it's going to be fine. No, I'm fine. You know, I'll just sleep it off, or you know, I'll just power through it.
Yeah, I bet it is.
I'm not like that. I freak out if I see any. Oh my god, I'm a bit of hypochondriac. Is this you start searching online? Is this cancer? Is this whatever? Is this like, am I terminally ill? Have I got infection? But yeah, going back to kind of the idea of like, you know, we touched upon like suicide is a big thing for well, not a big thing, but it affects men.
Yeah, more so
than women. Homelessness is a bigger thing more than women. And it's almost going into the topic, I think, of like gender roles. And like, do you think what is the pressures for men? And I think two things that come up for me is that the need to provide, maybe, you know, just, you know, struggling with that. So if they feel like they're not able to, you know, these guys maybe in their 50s that they might have fallen on hard times, they can no longer fulfill the supposed role or stereotype.
Do you remember that one where I think a bloke, maybe around that age range, and this is even worse because what happened to him was, for whatever reason, you know, he lost almost everything. They lived in a large mansion, basically.
Yeah.
he lost it all. You know, the house was going to be repossessed, whatever. He burnt the house down with his family inside.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's just a kind of thing.
So because he couldn't face,
He couldn't face telling them.
that. Yeah. That is so tragic.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, I think it comes down to. I mean, like even if I was looking at a lot of like these kind of TikTok videos or Instagram videos where we see them, they do these street interviews,
Yeah.
and then they start, you know, this guy just going up to various different couples, and I think quite affluent parts of the US, and they might have been kind of the West Side, like LA or something.
Yeah. Beverly Hills, no doubt.
Yeah, and then they'll go like, "Oh, would you date him if he was broke?" And then the girl would just go, I'm in an R-ing. And then the guy would be like, oh, you know, guy should, you know, yeah. You know, he kind of expected that if he didn't have the money,
Right.
yeah, she shouldn't kind of, you know, she wouldn't be surprised if she was to kind of leave him and date someone else. And that his view is kind of like, yes, men should provide. Full stop. Like pay for all meals, pay for all that type of stuff.
Pay for the prezzo. You know,
prezzo, drinks and stuff like that. And I think it does get a little bit toxic if the expectation is that it's always men. I mean, and also men also think it's a bit of an ego thing that they don't want women to pay, and they
So I'm going to slap down my Amex.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm going to take care of this. What I normally do is the opposite.
Yeah.
So, you know, when the bill comes, this is going back years when I was going on dates. When the bill comes, I'll just sit there and just stare at it. And then I'll quickly just look up at the chick I'm with and just wait.
Yeah.
Eventually they give in and they pay. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't. But, you know, it is a good point.
Yeah.
Because, you know, if we do want equality, maybe going Dutch is what it should be. Even if we should open this up, people on emails as well. First date, should you go Dutch? I sort of think, I guess it also depends on the jobs that you each do and different things like that. But let's say, for example, you know, maybe the lady earns more than the bloke on this date.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know the answers.
These are one of the times, and I feel Bill Burr covers this quite well when he starts comparing, like, what are the expectations of men and women. So it's really delving. It's like if you want the guy to actually, I don't know. He said if there's a weird sound at the, you know, in the night, you know, you'd want the guy to check out what it is, but he's the one that's in danger. And he goes, yes, this guy does have a knife. And he's like, he's the one getting kind of caught up in like the altercation with this criminal, or like the idea of like he used a Titanic example of like women and children first. You know, and it's like, but what about me? Or like if there is like a bank robbery, they always ask for the women and children first. He's like, I don't want to be in a bank vault with the guy with the gun.
It's like you said, look at what happened to Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh yeah, in the Titanic.
So, you know.
But yeah,
I bet he was celebrating International Men's Day.
What, Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, he only dates women who are younger than 25, isn't it?
I mean, yeah, if you get away with it, why not? But what I would say with this is that there shouldn't be I mean, men should, maybe they put too much pressure on themselves. The idea of, you know, we use this small example of paying for a meal. It's a small thing, and I want to pay. You know,
do you always pay then?
No, you know, my girlfriend's very good. She'll pay for you. Things. Yeah, it's all equal. You know, we're a modern couple.
Yeah.
But you know, the guy shouldn't put pressure on himself, feeling he has to pay.
No.
Who knows? You know, if he were to communicate and go like, you know, I'm a bit short. Can you cover this month?
I would say to anybody listening, men and women, to this, if you're going to go on that first date, just go to the pub or a bar.
Yeah.
And the bloke can get the first round, and then if the lady wants to, she might get the second round.
Yeah.
And it, you know, because if you're going to go for a big feast in the evening, with a huge bill, that can be quite a lot, especially given you don't know the person that well.
And just keep the drinks, you keep ordering the drinks, and you're like, oh crap, who's going to cover this? You know what, I think on first dates, they should have like a field on a dating app of going like, what's their budget?
Oh, yes.
So when you go into the date, you go like, oh, I'm willing to spend like, I don't know, 20 to 40 or 40 to 60. And then they would kind of know what is their budget.
I've just realised something. Why the hell do these dating apps not have like experiences on there for dates? And then you can fold that in. So basically, you say, right, I'm going to book this experience for this date, and I'm going to prepay it.
Oh, that's
And then you can
idea.
even split the bill between the two.
Oh,
Oh my god.
that's a great idea.
We need to edit this bit out and pitch it in to Match.com or whoever it is.
But Bumble's got a new CEO now.
But has it?
Yeah. It's a new, the main lady's left.
No way. Don't tell me it's a bloke.
No, it's another lady.
Oh, good.
Thank God, yeah.
It had to be. It had to be.
But that's a great idea. I mean, not to dwell on that point, but that's just something I think, little things like this is that, should put pressure on themselves. And, if they talk about it, they can
Good to
feel
talk.
better about it. But talking about, men and, developing good men in society, I think it all comes
Role
down
models.
to exactly role models.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask you, Chris, from your experience, were there any good male role models for you?
Well,
growing up?
so my dad.
Okay.
He was a great male role model, and that's the thing, you act based on what you see growing up, don't you? So you're looking out for it. I mean, another thing to bring up actually is, of course, teachers.
Yes.
And I'm just thinking back, as you grow up in primary school, there aren't many male teachers, and this might be something to bring up as well. I think, some blokes who do become teachers would avoid primary school because there's a little bit of almost a connotation around that of why would a bloke want to go and teach really young kids? And is there something dodgy? And I've seen a few things on Reddit where
really?
people have actually been implicated in false accusations, and then
dear.
sort of, it can be really difficult. So that's one to bring up as well. But what about you? Did you have any positive male role models?
Yeah, I mean,
Tom Cruise?
Tom Cruise,
Yeah.
Dean Cain, Superman. I remember it was a big one in my life.
But one of the guiding principles of International Men's Day is to avoid the superstars.
Yeah, that's true. That is true. But I do have an example. It's actually a teacher.
Oh!
Yeah, so I was probably year 8 at the time.
Okay.
So
Just into second year of
Secondary school.
secondary school, getting into that difficult
Yeah.
phase. They say year 9 is the worst one, don't they? Which must be like
I think I peaked in
14.
year 9.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, yeah.
You never come back.
No, I think it's all been downhill from there. But I had a maths teacher, believe it or not. He was Mr. Thompson. He's a cool maths teacher. I believe he was Jamaican.
Oh, cool.
But yeah, I think there was this one time where I was obviously with a group of friends. We was into kind of I guess rock music at the time, when garage was the big thing in our school.
Okay.
Garage or rap, hip hop at that time. And we used to always debate these things. Oh, you form these cliques. This is better. I prefer this. And one of the things was that they were like, rock music is just kind of new metal at the time. I remember that it was just shouting.
So what was it? I mean, what was it you were listening to?
I was into all sorts, like Slipknot, Red Hot Chili Peppers, Papa Roach. Or,
Oh, but Red Hot Chili
Biscuit.
Peppers.
Yeah, it was popular at the time. And
Linkin Park.
Linkin Park. But then one of the challenges.
Good Charlotte. Did you like
Good Charlotte. Yeah, I like Good Charlotte.
Yeah.
Pop punk stuff.
Yeah.
But basically, one of the challenges that they said is that I kind of set for myself. I said, I could easily create a rap track.
Yeah.
So I actually did it. So I wrote a whole rap.
You wrote your own rap track.
Yeah, I wrote my own rap track and I recorded it on Microsoft Voice Recorder. I took samples offline and created my own
brilliant.
beats.
That's brilliant. Can we hear it on this podcast?
No, I don't have a copy of it. It's lost in a hard drive.
way.
Yeah. And I wrote this whole rap in a Friday afternoon and I recorded it.
That is brilliant.
And one of the things is that I was showing to my mates and I found it quite hilarious. And my rap name, believe it, I called myself Techno Tony, but even though it was rap, it was just called Techno Tony.
You just didn't know what techno was. It's alliteration.
Yeah. And one of my friends actually had a copy of it and showed it to my maths teacher, Mr. Thompson, and he was listening to it and he's like, oh my God, Tony, this is really good. And to inspire me, he actually bought me a copy of The Streets, original Pirate material.
Mikey Skinner, I love him.
So he bought me that, and then he was going to me, Tony, he's like, look at the Beastie Boys. Look at the Beastie Boys. Yeah. He didn't want to say that, obviously my race or wherever. He said, don't let that be a hindrance.
Yeah.
Don't let that put you off from pursuing the rap game.
Yeah.
So I found that quite
That is inspiring.
Inspiring that
isn't
he
it?
did that,
Yeah.
and he was going like, original pirate material, because obviously Mike Skinner, he's. I wouldn't call it. It was almost like, how would you describe it? Music? It's almost like kind of garage, but not quite garage. It was
that's brilliant.
alternative kind of hip hop.
He's still going.
Yeah,
The Streets is still going.
It's a great album, The Streets' original pirate material.
Yeah.
And Beastie Boys were big at the time. I mean, they were quite different. They were a Caucasian trio when rap and hip hop was predominantly kind of a black type music. But yeah, that was really inspiring. But I guess moving on to kind of other things that that kind of really talk about kind of men and how to behave, or like some of the expectations of men. Is that, I don't know if you've seen the movie Mulan.
I have. Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Probably about 20 years ago.
Do you remember that song? I think it's Donny Osmond sings it, but it's "I'll Make a Man Out of You." And in a way that the expectations of a man has to be strong, has to be fast, has to go to war.
Yeah.
But I found that actually quite motivating. I don't know about you.
Did
But I was like, oh my god, I get hyped up every time I listen to it. And in a way, men are expected to kind of fight wars and kind of be soldiers in that regard. And another movie, I guess, that kind of was big for me growing up was Rocky IV.
Oh, yeah.
And
You're a Rocky fan, aren't you?
I'm a big Rocky fan. Have you seen Rocky IV?
Maybe.
When he fights the
I
Russian,
don't want to say no.
Ivan Drago.
Yeah.
So the reason why I mentioned Rocky IV was that I found Rocky IV such a great movie growing up, because it was such a masculine movie. It was 80s, obviously Stallone is actually ripped. It was got that 80s kind of music as well, so it gets you really hyped up. But when I really watched the film, there's a lot of what you could describe as toxic masculinity in there. And one of the... I don't want to put any spoilers, so spoiler alert, guys, if you haven't seen Rocky IV.
Skip forward 30 seconds if you haven't seen it now.
So, just a quick overview of the film. Obviously, Rocky was champion, and then Apollo Creed, who was former champion, he's not in the limelight anymore. And the Russians, because have this new super boxer that they're saying, like, this guy's the best, they come over to the US to do the exhibition match. And this guy is played by Dolph Lundgren, proper like specimen. Apollo Creed wants to fight him so he can get back into the limelight, but like he's obviously getting on a bit, and everyone's saying like, don't do it. You're past that. You've already been champion. It's time to move on to the next stage of your life. And I remember Apollo Creed having this speech with Rocky, which gave an insight to, I guess, his perspective and what he thinks, being a man is. And I'll read you the kind of...
Can you do it in his voice as well?
I'll try to, shall I?
Yeah, try it.
He goes, you and me, we don't even have a choice.
This is actually really good.
See, we're born with this killer instinct that you just can't turn off like some radio. We have to be in the middle of the action, because we're the warriors. And without some challenge... without some down war to fight, then the warrior might as well be dead, Stallion. Now I'm asking you, as a friend, stand by my side this one last time.
I like the way your voice just went a bit deeper as well.
Yeah.
I can see Stallone as you read that out.
Yeah. Well, this is Apollo Creed saying to Stallone.
did you-
Yeah.
So
Stallone is the one that's kind of saying don't do it, and he's kind of giving him the argument.
Oh
that
my God.
He can't, he has to do this.
That's pathetic from Stallone. I would have thought he'd be all over that.
So basically, Stallone's like, okay, then he's kind of roped in for him to be his corner man.
Right.
Guess what happens to Apollo Creed?
I don't know.
He gets killed in the ring. Yeah, he gets boxed to death by the
I'm
Russian.
going to have to watch it. I'm going to have to watch it.
So
maybe your impression was terrible then, because I thought it sounded accurate for Stallone.
yeah, it's bad. It's a bad impression. I was in between trying to do an American accent or like.
No.
I wasn't doing one. But as you can see, if you actually read it properly, if I break this down, you said we don't even have a choice.
This killer instinct, we have to be in the middle of the action. We're warriors.
Yeah.
Without some damn war to fight, the warrior might as well be dead.
Jesse, it's a sense of foreboding there, that he feels like he didn't have a choice. He did have a choice. He didn't have to do it.
Yep.
And his ego, even in the fight, he said to Rocky, don't stop the fight. Whatever you do, don't stop the fight. And this is something that I guess in Rocky has to deal with, that he regrets not throwing the towel earlier.
Rocky, if you'd have stopped that damn fight, he'd still be here with us today.
And another thing that, moving on to Rocky, when he has to eventually fight the Russian, is that throughout the whole training regime, one of the best training montages I've ever seen, I still watch it from time to time, is that his training says to him, no pain, no pain, no pain. So like, he has to keep repeating that, no pain, so he can power through, He has to have that mentality of not feeling pain. But during the fight, he is getting boxed up into, his head is taking a lot of damage. And at the end of Rocky IV, again, spoiler alert, he gets brain damage.
Oh my God.
So there's this idea of thinking like they have no choice, they have to endure this kind of pain, have to go through the fire.
So I like what you're getting at
Yeah.
here. It's basically, we've all got a choice.
Yeah.
And we can control exactly what we want to do. There may be expectations placed upon us by society, but days like International Men's Day, I suppose, are kind of coming out to just say to people, look, we don't need these old stereotypes. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying that, it's almost like he's going back to like warriors, and I think it all comes down to ego. He's like, he's not a man unless he actually has to go out and sacrifice himself. To fight. It's almost like I'm gonna give it my all. I'm gonna go into that ring, and I'll go down dying. I'll go down on my sword. I'm willing to sacrifice my life for this, I guess, toxic ego of like, I'm a man.
Oh my God.
Yeah. But hey, it's just a movie. But I believe there's some men that actually think that way. And you can argue that's not really a healthy mindset.
No. But yeah, I mean, Tony, International Men's Day. Listen, I think you've made some compelling arguments there. Actually, there's a really good moral to the story. But just from my perspective, I'm going to give you a couple of analogies.
Sure.
So you won't believe this. I went to a shop once, and I was around it through John Lewis or something like that, looking at all the different kitchen utensils, and I came across something called a banana slicer.
Okay.
A banana slicer. I was like, okay, interesting. And then I thought about it. You could slice up a banana with, paper. That's how easy it is to cut a banana. Okay, that's the first one. Second one, have you ever used those curved nail scissors?
No, I haven't.
We were actually talking about this earlier, and it was in my head from before.
Okay.
When I was thinking about International Men's Day. I once accidentally bought a pair of these curved nail scissors, which are meant to be brilliant. They just don't work. I had to go back and get the real, normal, traditional nail scissors. And to me, International Men's Day is a bit like those, because they are both providing a solution to a problem that never existed. And that's my view. There's too many of these days, Tony. It's going to be 365 days a year. We're going to be celebrating something else. Okay, fine. Mother's Day, yes. Father's Day. You're going to have birthdays of your entire family. We already have that.
Yeah.
You got your missus or your partner, whatever.
Yeah.
Kids are going to come. You got theirs. You've got Christmas. You got Easter, whatever it might be, whatever faith you have in the different days, or your friends' birthdays, anniversaries. Oh my God! I tell you what. In a few years' time, they're going to want us to be celebrating all of these and getting gifts. We'll have to be getting a gift for every man we know.
Yeah. I think I know where you're heading with this. Essentially, you're just saying, we don't need, just be a man.
Just man exactly. Up. Just go into battle.
Yeah.
Man up.
I think Apollo Creed and Rocky would agree with you, and they'll go like, if you got any problem, just go out and settle it like men.
Exactly. I just think it's a load of all baloney, basically. But, we've got to highlight the issues that men and women and everybody face.
Yeah.
But I'm just all about action. Action speak louder than words.
Okay, that's
Actions speak louder than words. And that's what I normally say if I do have a dispute. Somebody will say, take it outside, actions speak louder than words.
Well, all I would say, Chris, is that no, it's good to have different, and all perspectives are valid. I think International Men's Day is really about just acknowledgement that if people want to say that you need to take a step back and just go, look, there are guys that are within society that we should praise them for doing good things within society and being good role
And
models.
that's true. Everybody deserves to get a bit of praise, and men should praise other men.
Yeah, and
Tell them that they care.
yeah, and also just to say, if there's something wrong with your meat and two veg, just get it checked out. Don't be afraid.
Straight away.
Yeah, and that's it. You gotta take care of yourself and just don't be too proud.
Got a really important question.
Sure.
Bigfoot. I know we were talking about Bigfoot last week. Is Bigfoot a man, a woman, or it's not a human? Can we get the Sasquatch researcher in?
Oh, but it's not human, is it?
No, yeah. Okay.
Oh, it could
or is it
be a
just
human,
giant
potentially.
human. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not human. I would say we talked about it. It could be a man. It could be female or male.
Okay.
I think most of them are male. I can't say.
They're out there.
They're definitely out there. Right.
In Wales, actually.
Picking next week's numbers. So we're in segment 3. So the first one that I have is it's a number 5.
Okay.
So the reason I chose 5 is this headline that I saw was a teen gave 33-year-old boyfriend 5 hours to kill his mother, but ended up doing it herself.
Oh my God! On International Men's Day.
Yeah, so it's not really man. You should have done it.
Yeah.
And 5 hours I thought was very, very funny. It's quite specific.
That is really specific. Imagine you get told that now.
Yeah. So some bits from the article is that the prosecutor said that the teen, I believe the teen is 17 years old, dating a 33-year-old.
Hang on. Yeah, this is a bit dodgy.
Yeah, this is dodgy already. So the prosecutor says the teen gave Jonathan Jones an ultimatum to take care of his mother because she was interfering in their relationship.
So probably the mother was just doing the right thing and telling Jonathan Jones, don't date a 17-year-old.
Yeah. I wonder what the dad would say.
Wow. Is he still around?
I don't know. You might have a different view. I don't know.
Yeah.
So he had 5 hours to kill his mother. After the 5 hours passed and he didn't do it, she allegedly gave him another hour. So she was like, oh, have another hour to get it done. He still couldn't do it.
One more hour.
When the mother was in the kitchen looking in the refrigerator, the teen allegedly strangled her and bludgeoned her with a rock.
That is intense. I mean, I wasn't expecting. This is a 17-year-old.
17-year-old.
When you said, okay, she went ahead and killed the mother, I thought, oh, yeah, it's going to be maybe she just got a gun or something simple, knife. She strangled the mother.
Allegedly.
Yeah, and bludgeoned her with a rock.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah.
That's
but she was kind enough to give him another hour to try and get it done. So I'll give you 5. You've got to do it 5 hours, but I'll give you 6.
Yeah.
But that's 5.
Are there any photos out there of this teen? Do you know?
No, I don't think think there is. But yeah, it's just a bit of a stock.
Caitlin Coon. So this did happen in the US, surely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where else, right? I mean, it can happen anywhere, but it's always seemed to kind of...
It usually seems to be in the US. Oh, my goodness me. Well, Tony, we obviously last week had the robot. It's killing people, but that is vicious.
Yeah, you can't be... he might have thought it'd be used onto a winner. Yeah. Dating, I'm 33, I'm dating a 17-year-old, but... They're not mature, are they?
Wow.
Yeah.
Clearly not in this case. Clearly not. So the number 5. All right. Well, Tony, I've got the number 11 for my first number this week, and I like this one. So a Scottish minister racked up an £11,000 roaming bill on a family holiday in Morocco. So the Scottish minister... actually claimed back this 11k roaming bill on expenses, but has now admitted that the reason that he racked up this bill was because his sons were watching football on his iPad. So, or what it was he had the SIM card in his iPad.
Oh, yeah.
And he was using it as a personal hotspot.
Oh.
And he was told, okay, it's fine. And his kids were just basically connecting to this hotspot on their phone. and they were just watching the Old Firm Celtic Rangers and various other football matches over the course of the holiday. £11,000. Now I know it can rack up when you go to these locations, but 11,000. And I just want to know: is there any proof that it was definitely football they were watching?
That's a lot of football for.
Yeah, I mean,
how
it
many
only
games
goes on
are there?
90 minutes, and how many games across?
I think he's
A couple
probably
of
watching
weeks.
something else.
Yeah. Was it him or was it the Suns?
Oh, I don't know. I reckon it's him.
I reckon it might have been him. Well, allegedly, we allege.
We don't know.
We don't know. We don't know at all.
But he tried to claim it back through expenses.
He did claim it back,
Oh.
partly through expenses and partly through something else. And then he got caught out. So he told the Scottish Parliament that it was his kids watching football. And yeah, he was fighting back tears as he read out this statement. But 11,000. I mean, Tony, I'll be honest. On my phone contract, I've set my overspend limit at 0
Yeah.
because I don't see any reason why I would need to go over and add any extra expenses. So I've just set it at 0. So if you accidentally send a picture message on SMS or something,
Yeah.
it just blocks it.
See, that's the right thing. You would expect more from was it a Scottish
A
minister?
Scottish minister for the SNP. So it's just the latest scandal that's befallen the SNP because, of course, Nicola
disgraceful.
Sturgeon was caught up in we can't talk about it. It's an ongoing case, and her husband around the finances of the party. So I don't know what you think, Tony.
I think that is, okay, I can see why he would want to try and put it through.
Yeah.
But you're just asking for trouble because that's such a significant amount for a phone bill. People are going to see that. Yeah, a bit naive of him to do that. For my next one, I guess it's actually Scottish as well.
Are we staying in Scotland?
Yeah, we're staying in Scotland. It's not a good week for Scottish people, I guess. But a Scottish runner gets 12-month ban for using a vehicle in an ultramarathon.
Ultramarathon?
Yeah. So
Hang on, first and foremost, what's an ultramarathon?
I guess it's just a really long marathon.
Well, okay. If it's even longer than a normal marathon, I don't blame the Scottish runner.
So after translation, she was not running for. So basically, they found out because tracking data showed that she was not running for 2.5 miles of the event.
And it's saying here that an ultramarathon is a 50-mile race. I could tell you, I'm gonna be quite lenient on this one because it's
cheating.
50 miles and she only missed 2.5 miles.
Yeah, but it's still cheating though.
It is cheating, but
But as an athlete, wouldn't you go you train you would want to do it yourself? I think that's a bit of a shame. She would kind of tarnish her kind of career like that.
was it 2.5 miles at the end or in the middle? Maybe she just wanted to go down to the pub.
Oh, is that? I mean, fair point.
I must admit, though, as you say, she did come third and she got a trophy. So, that's unfair on the other competitors as well.
Yeah, I mean, you should compete fairly. And now this is probably going to affect her going forward. I think...
Oh my God, look at her job. She's a GP. How the hell could you trust this woman if she were your GP?
Again, this is meant to be upstanding citizens, taking care of people. Hey, maybe she said, it wasn't good for... She did her own kind of health analysis and says, it's not good for me to overexert myself.
Oh my good God. That is absolutely shocking, Tony.
But yeah,
Tell you
so
what.
that's number 12.
Bad
So
week for Scotland.
yeah, 12-month
Like
ban.
we said. All right. Well, that's the number 12. So we've got 11 and 12 from Scotland. And the next one that I've got is the number 31. Because I bet you're going to like this one, Tony.
All right,
A
that's it.
horse has escaped on board a plane while it was 31,000 feet in the air.
That is strange. You can transport... Yeah, I guess you can transport animals on a plane. I always think of dogs and stuff. I noticed you got a whole horse.
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird one. My first thought was this a passenger jet?
Okay.
It wasn't a commercial aircraft, don't worry. It was just a transit. But yeah, still, the horse actually managed to escape from its stall on a plane that left New York on its way to Belgium on a Boeing 747 cargo plane. And it's quite good because you just hear the air traffic control recording that was obtained by Live ATC. We have a live animal, a horse, on board the airplane, and the horse managed to escape its stall. We don't have a problem as of flying-wise. We need to return to New York. We cannot get the horse back secure. And when it landed, the pilot can be heard asking air traffic control to request a vet is present when the flight lands at New York's JFK airport. We have a horse in difficulty, he said. But yeah, the pilot said that they themselves didn't require any assistance, so the horse escaped, but it didn't cause any damage.
That's good, because I think that could be quite scary if you've got a horse going wild on the plane. Just like just knocking stuff over and just freaking out. But I guess it
would have been scared, the horse.
Yeah. Be like, where the hell am I? Why am I... But yeah, what number was that again? It was...
So I've gone with the number 31, which is because the horse made it up 31,000 feet before.
Okay.
Before it was spotted, and the plane had to come all the way back to New York. So, can you imagine though, Tony, if you were on a plane, and suddenly, maybe you go down to use the toilet, and a horse just appeared.
You know what? This is going to be sound kind of evil or selfish of me, but if I generally thought the plane was in danger and it could cause havoc,
blow it up.
No, I'll literally pull open the door and I'll just go like, out you go.
Out the horse. Would you put a parachute on its back first? I guess it wouldn't.
I don't think I've got time.
No.
I might put one on myself in case that I get pulled out at the same
with
time.
the horse. You could actually put the parachute on the horse.
Yeah.
And then get on the horse. That'd be cool, wouldn't it? You just slowly but surely, from 31,000 feet, it's going to take a while.
Yeah. What I'm trying to say is that I'm willing to make the tough decisions to save the majority of human lives.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I mean that's something I'm willing to do. I don't know about you, Chris.
Would I sacrifice a horse in order to save
a plane full
hundreds of humans? Yeah, I'd have to.
Yeah. Maybe I can knock. Or maybe just choke it out.
Yeah,
That'd be a better way. Yeah, just get in a headlock.
This is why it's important, though, to always carry a taser down with you, because you could just knock out that horse. And I do believe it's perfectly legal to carry a taser on board an aircraft, right?
I'm not too sure. Oh, wait, if it's in America, I reckon so.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, 31. My next one is... actually, I'm going to start with a question, Chris. Would you say you're close with your mother?
Yeah.
And your mother would want you to be healthy.
Yeah, she always does, yeah.
And she'd want to do anything she can. If she knew that you weren't well, Chris, she would want to do everything she can
She'd make me soup.
To look after you.
Probably give me some grapes, bring me down the sick blanket, all these kind of things.
I reckon most mothers would go, like, if you needed a kidney, you go, like, and they're like, I don't know, I'm giving it to my son.
They'd hand over their left arm for you, Tony.
Yeah. I think that's what good parents are. I mean, like... and, I can appreciate this article, comes to think of it, and it's all about a mother trying to help her son, essentially. It's just the story. But if I read you the title, a man gave himself poop transplants using his mum's feces to treat his debilitating Crohn's. Then he started experiencing her menopause symptoms.
Oh my God. I don't really know where to start on this. So he gave himself poop transplants using his mum's feces.
Yeah.
So then he started experiencing her. Let's start with the transplants, because I'm getting a bit confused about that.
Basically, I think I've heard about this before, where when you're not well, I guess if you have problems with your kind of digestive system, and it's all about good and bad bacteria. And apparently, healthy humans have this kind of good bacteria in their feces, and one of the ways to try to encourage, the body to kind of
Better gut health.
better gut health is to actually put in other people's
Right.
poop. Yeah, apparently. It's a
Okay.
thing.
Are we sure it just wasn't a fetish that he had?
Two birds, one stone, maybe.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if it actually says here. It's DI. He's doing a DIY poop transplant, but I believe they have done it in the medical field.
DIY.
So I don't know. It's something how you kind of.
How the hell?
I think what do you call it when you stick a little water in your.
I think Michael Barrymore knows about that.
He probably did. Does or.
DIY poop transplants
Yeah.
for over 4 years.
Yeah, it's called FMTs. Usually involved and doctors that involve EMTs. FMTs usually involve a doctor taking poop from a healthy donor and blending it with a saline solution. In an FDA-approved procedure, the saline and feces mixture is then inserted into the recipient's gastrointestinal tract through an enema. That's the one I was after. Yeah, enema. Or taken via oral capsules. So it's actually a legit thing. But they didn't go for a doctor, they just did it at home.
But I bet there are other ways you can do it, and Michael Barrymore's explored all of those. Allegedly, potentially.
Yeah, and there was one case where it didn't end well.
Yes.
Yeah. But we can't comment
We
on that.
can't comment. The legal system does its work, and we leave it with them.
So, I thought that's a nice family story there. I mean, it's all about looking for the health of your family.
Well,
and
that's the
son.
first one.
Yeah.
That's the first element. But then after doing this, he started experiencing her menopause symptoms. So what is it,
I mean, I
just
don't know what to say about that.
say.
It could be
How do they
psychological.
know it's her menopause symptoms?
I think it could be
Or it's
psychological.
just, yeah.
Yeah, experienced some unexpected side effects from the FMT, sweating, hot flashes, and mood swings similar to what a menopausal one was experiencing. So they might be just assuming that. I mean, I think you would start feeling a bit.
Pathetic.
I think you'd be sweating out someone else's
Yeah.
feces up you.
I think maybe he's just like, he's obviously got this debilitating disease. He was probably just hanging out with his mum all the time.
Yeah.
And so her mood reflected onto him.
Yeah.
It's just pathetic that he starts trying to claim all this.
But yeah, I think so. 35 is because he's 35 years old.
He's 35 and he's still going on that. No.
He's a mummy's boy. What can I say?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Well, clearly.
And then finally, I think this is a highly relevant one because it's all about, we talk about the lottery. And the number I'm going with is 32. And the reason why I'm going with 32 is the Mega Millions, which is a 1.5 billion jackpot winner, sues his daughter's mum for telling parents that he won this huge jackpot. So basically, the number 32 comes from after the win, the woman named as Sarah Smith signed a non-disclosure agreement on February the 8th to keep, his name is John, they call him John Doe, named quiet until June the 1st in 2032.
Now, this is what we've explored so
Yeah.
many times on the show.
Yeah.
This is a really smart idea. I bet you got a lawyer or a solicitor involved.
Exactly. So it's all about, you've got to be careful on who you tell. So he's won a significant amount, 1.35 billion. I think after taxes, it was just a touch over $500 million, but still decent. So yeah, it's like he's suing. It's weird, the way they're worded is his daughter's mum. So he's had a
obviously they're
child.
not together anymore. He's had a child with this chick.
It's the mother of his child.
So he obviously clearly told her,
Yeah.
the mother of his child,
Yeah.
but he didn't want his parents to know.
She's told his
And
parents.
she's gone ahead and told them.
Yeah.
But she signed an NDA
Yeah.
that's legally binding.
Yeah.
He's got every right to sue her, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would say so. And I would say that if he listened to our podcast,
None of
wouldn't
this
have
would
this
have
problem.
happened. None of this would have happened.
So,
But this did happen in January, didn't it? So probably he does listen now. But Tony, this is a really good idea.
yeah.
This is what we've been talking about. I didn't even think about this when we did that episode.
Oh,
You can tell
just
people, but get them
NDAs.
to sign an NDA.
Yeah, I think that's actually quite learning for us, actually. Just get a load of NDAs.
Could be controversial. People get offended. It's like when people have to sign a prenup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's a really smart idea. but it can go wrong. But at least you have security. You know, he's got over $1 billion, but he does need the money, and that's why he's suing this lady.
Well, you know, there's consequences, right? You know, you've got to uphold the NDA.
There's got to be consequences for any action you take.
So, just to recap, so the following numbers that I will be buying for this week's Saturday draw is 5, 11, 12, 31, 32, and 35.
Nice.
So, yep, those are numbers, and I think it's quite Scottish themed. There's a bit of there's some horses there. We've got poop. We've got everything in there. I think this is quite a varied set of manifested numbers. That
We're going Tartan.
Yeah.
We're going Tartan this week. Who knows? You know, we covered the Skelmorley clown a few weeks ago, so let's just see. We might get lucky.
Sometimes we have been quite a bit London-centric, so looking up north might actually be the right thing to do.
And I was up north this weekend. I was in Liverpool.
There's a theme happening. There's a theme happening here. So one of the things that we always have to say now is that obviously subscribe. You know, follow us on YouTube. Give us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
5 stars only, please.
Yeah, and I guess we can close it there.
We can, but Tony, just to let everybody know, I'm off. So I was in Liverpool this weekend, and I'm up to Newcastle.
Oh, you're going
this
up north.
weekend. I'm going out north again. And guys, just email me in if you're up there. You know, I'm happy to come and give you some tips on how to win the lottery. I bumped into a few people in Liverpool who were saying, "Look, Chris, we need your help. We want to manifest this lottery jackpot towards us in the same way you do." So anybody in Newcastle, I'll be there. And as you know, I'm a big Newcastle fan as well. So I know we're going to batter Chelsea as well while I'm there.
I think that's a great point because we focus too much on the south here.
Yeah.
And we need to follow the government's focus of levelling up.
Yeah.
So we need to kind of spread the wealth.
We need to spread the wealth, and that's why we need to get HS2 done by hook or by crook, Tony.
You can't get away from HS2.
Oh, no. I mean, that's, you know, obviously I went up to Liverpool this weekend, and we were talking about it. We were like, imagine if we were on HS2 right now.
You know what? I'm actually looking so far ahead that by the time it's done, I want to do a podcast on the HS2.
Yes.
That's got to be done.
absolutely have to do it.
That's got to be done. All right, then. I guess we shall see you next week on
Win Me the Lottery. Ciao, ciao.
Goodbye.